Hello there friends, in today's video I would like to show you a quick flip through of my completed creative journal, and we can talk a little bit about what I thought about this Leuchtturm1917. Hi, my name is Belinda. I'm the founder of Organize and Bless Mom, and I'm back with another creative idea. If you're new here, please subscribe and turn on the notifications so you will know when a new video is posted. All right, friends, I have by this time shown you two of these creative journals. So this was my creative journal that I started in 2023, and I did an entire flip through of this guy. Maybe not in the in one video. It was like just different videos in different times, but it's so cool to see how you start something and you just get better with practice. So I'm so happy I started this creative journal. This one is an Archer and Olive, and I also have done already a complete flip through of this Archer and Olive journal. I got too chunky, so all these pages in the back had to stay there, but I just could not fit any more things because it was just too much. So I have done full flip throughs of all of these two. So if you look at I have a playlist called Creative Journal, and you'll see the flip throughs. And I wanted to tell you here at the end a big difference that I did notice in these Archer and Olive versus this Leuchtturm 1917 journal. So I had such a fun time in these Archer and Olive creative journals that I decided I wanted to try a different journal because I love having lines. So let me see if this one. So this Leuchtturm 1917 is pretty much the same size as my Archer and Olive. I think this is an A5 if I'm not mistaken. Let me see here in the back. They'll tell me. Is this A5 size? Yes, A5 size. So this one I really liked because it had your lines, and I love having lines. This Archer and Olive has little dots, so it was very hard for me to journal on dots, but I do have one thing that I have one complaint about this journal. Okay, so let's get started because I do want to show you everything I put in here. So I did put a little bit of stickers here on the front just to decorate it a little bit. And so here we go. So here is my initial page. Sorry, can't talk. I did do a setup video for this journal. So I show you how I make this, and then this, and I think I even made this page and this one, and I believe I made up to the vision board here. So here is October 2024. I do use the Patreon printables from Helen with Journal with Purpose, and here is the mood tracker. I love these mood trackers. They're so satisfying to see at the end. I also do paste in the journal prompts that she gives us, and I did really well in October. I actually only missed 2 days, which was a really good creative month. So I'm not going to talk through all this because it's going to take me a very long time, but I'll do like the prompt. For example, number 1 was plans for October, so I'll talk about that, and I'll either do magazine cutout or I'll do just some kind of a pretty image. I kind of like that style, and it just it just works for me. Some days I do like to not follow my own my own template. My template is journal on the right and image on the left. And sometimes, for example, this was circles was the prompt, so I did a bunch of circles of, you know, currently things, and then I just wrote. So here the journaling was very small. It was mostly decorative, but it's just a way to get creative. So this prompt was risks. Again, I took a magazine and then I just journaled about that. This one was palette knife. So I did do some, I used my palette knife to put some ink on the bottom and then just did a cutout. I really like to use magazine cutouts as well as scrapbook paper and of course stickers. This one I don't remember what the prompt was. This one was bold mark, so I had saved this magazine clipping, and I kind of like to find an image that goes with something that I'm going to journal about. I just think that looks really nice. Here the prompt was serendipity, and I talked about my fall activities. That's very weird, like the ink in here kind of got muted. Okay. This scribble was one of my favorites because it was so out of my comfort zone. I kind of followed an example that Helen did on one of the videos, and then I really liked the way this scribble went around, and I used my same acrylic pens to make the colors. It ended up looking over here like Christmas lights to me, and I really liked that. This one's one of my favorites. I talked about friendship. I think the prompt was friendship, was it? It was thoughts on friendship. Yeah. So I found this image in a magazine, and then I had some of these ephemera from different ephemera packs, and then I just put a really pretty paper, and I just thought it looked, I really liked the way this one came out. Here the prompt was pink and blue. This one was connecting with nature, so I found a beautiful picture of nature. This one was your favorite animals. So I just went through my picture roll and I got pictures of animals that I have taken from, you know, when I go to different trips or the zoo. And so I talked about that. Who or what influences you was the prompt for this day, and I loved this. I had been saving this magazine clipping for a while, and I thought it looked really pretty there. So this one says ephemera cluster was the prompt. So I just did a little cluster there with some, these are simple story cards. This one says progress this year, and I just got a big card. I love these cards from the ephemera kits, but I never used them. I put a card here as a header, and then the flowers and some washi. This is like a washi sheet that I got from Joann's. This one also liked the prompt was threads, and I really liked this sheet, this scrapbook paper, and this one come from the same pack. And then I just took one of the quotes from Helen, this time next year, you will be pleased you started today. So I wrote a little bit about that. And then I added some stickers from Wrong. All right, I'm going to go a little bit faster just because we want to get to the end. Earth tones. This one I did put that I did get the inspiration from authenticallydell.com. She did something, what was it, the affirmations boundaries. This one was kind of cool too. I had never done, this was an idea that Helen gave us. I had been saving this magazine clipping also, and then I drew, because this magazine had so much purple, I just kind of tried to pull that purple in onto this page. Layers Upon Layers, another cluster. These are all printables from Kelsey Lee from My Abiding Journal. So those were really fun to use up. This one I really like too, In the News. So I took this little typewriter. I took off the top and just kind of made it my journaling spot. And then I just took pictures of some of the, headlines that week. My Happy Place. This one was pattern papers. I love to do these as well. Sometimes we don't have, if you don't have magazines, you can get these from Amazon. And I used these also. These are from Lolo Yaya Studios, I think it's called. And they're just travel stickers. And then they have these sheets of paper that go very well, really pretty. Okay, habits you're working on. Oh, I think I skipped one. Oh yeah, this one's really pretty. I was talking about peaceful moments, and I loved this quote by Joshua Becker from The Minimalist Home. I love that image. Isn't that beautiful? And then I just added some travel stickers and talked about that. Here I talked about different habits. And then I have my month in review. Helen always gives us that prompt for the end of the month or somewhere close. So that's October. Here is November. Here's my mood tracker and my cover. And I didn't do a vision board for the month, but I just did a quote. And then the prompts here. I like to highlight all the days that I do the prompts. So I did miss a couple of days, like 7 days, but I think that's a pretty good time. If I can do at least half the prompts, I feel that I have won. So here are plans for November. This one says, don't let your dreams pass you by. This one, what do you find comforting? Here I talked about enjoying simple pleasures like going to journal at Barnes and Noble. So you can use, the bags and put in receipts to just enhance your journal. Here, the prompt was thoughts. This is a cutout from a magazine, and I just kind of continued it onto this page. I thought these fruits look really pretty. Here is a next small step. I wanted to use up these big stickers, so this is a great way. On this one, you can see that there was no journaling. I just had fun. I have this stamp that looks like a coffee cup, and then I just punched out some circles of some really pretty pattern paper. So that was it. Shutting out the noise. I love this image from, I think most of these are from Real Simple magazine. I have a lot of those magazines. Here I found a prayer card from Dayspring, and then I did my journaling here in the back. And then I put another quote card from a little book that I have. This is from a magazine, A Little Something for You. And this one, the prompt was feathers. So I go see these ducks on my walk, and so I talked about my feathered friends. This image was really pretty. When are you at your best? So I talked about that. Here I just put some pattern paper, and that's all I did, and then just added some plants to kind of throw the theme into the other page. Saying no to. And this one said the prompt was curious. Making time for. So I really also like to do these sometimes where I make the 2-page spread and just kind of fill up both pages. Here I talked about travel, and these are from some travel stickers from I think it's Lolo Yaya Studios. And this is from Wrong. Before 2025, I plan to go back to school, and I did do that. So I did that. That's so cool. This is what was this about? Probably dreams. And so I just put some really pretty paper and then this big sticker. This is a wrong sticker. I really like this page too. The pages that have pink are sometimes one of my favorites. What does balance look like? So I was talking about that, and I put this really pretty page from a magazine, and this alphabets. This one, proud of, and I put 3 things I'm proud of with a picture from my desk. Here is what was this prompt 24? Let's see. Prompt 24 was hearts. Oh, no wonder. So I have lots of hearts here, and I talked about just the tea dates that I take with one of my sons. We love to drink boba tea. And then my end of month review for November. And here is December. I wonder, oh, I got all the way to February in this one. So here is December. I think in December, obviously in December, I only did one prompt. So there you go. I only did the end of year review. So on these kind of, there are some months that there's too much, right? And so, of course, we have to just let go and just turn the page. So here is January 2025. I should probably put the year here because there is no year on here. Here's my mood tracker for January. And these are the prompts. Again, I started school, so there wasn't much time for prompts. This one is a bucket list from my abiding journal. She does this for us on Patreon, so you can kind of check off different things. So here are the plans for January. Here I was talking about a new boba tea flavor that I tried. Feelings was the prompt on this one. These pretty guys I got from Mommy Muddling from Amy. She gave me those. Those are so beautiful. 25 in 2025. I really like this one. I love this like travel page. Happy colors. This I did like a Pandora page. So the prompt was packaging. So I used the packaging. I ordered some new Pandora charms, and so I used the tissue and some of the bag, and then like the description of what I bought. And here is the end of month review for January. And that brings us to our last month in here. This is February. This is my mood tracker. I did go with like those really pretty gel pens. And so I did a little bit more here in February. Here is the bucket list from my abiding journal. This February was really fun because I was looking at ideas to put into my journal, and I found a lot. So I was trying to use up this vellum that's been sitting in my stash. And so plans for February, I did a gratitude page with this cutout from this magazine, and then just a cluster. I was also trying to use up my Valentine's Day stickers and cards. I have a lot of cards, and so here I talked about what I was enjoying. We were trying the new drinks from Starbucks, and we didn't like them, so that was that entry. Here was like I believe the entry was a tag, so I made a tag and I decorated it, and I talked about our favorite things, my husband and I favorite things. Here I wrote a letter to myself, and I did a little pretty thing. So in here you can see I have the letter, and I just decorated the outside. So this is where I started to have a problem with this journal. Up to this point, the journal is kind of flat, but then here we started having issues with, having this journal lay flat. On this day, the prompt was a post-it note, so I just did little flags, and then I just put different drinks in this cutout that I had. And I actually drew, I drew this, I looked at a picture and I drew this tea bag because I was talking about drinks and I love tea. Be brave. I wanted to use up this Hello Kitty card and I thought that was really nice. I also did do a kind of an interactive thing here where I did put an envelope and I wrote out 1 Corinthians 13:4 and 5 about love. And I just hooked it here. I put a little flag and just put some, I even put gems on here. I really don't like to put anything bulky because then it gets hard to write. And here is where like the book is getting a little bit wonky, that doesn't want to lay flat. Looking forward to, I loved this image from this magazine. I don't even know which, this was from, I don't even know what magazine this was from, but it was a really nice magazine. All right, this one was like, I think it was like page or drawing. What was this? February. I don't even know what entry. So that was the creative entry. I don't know. I don't know what the entry was. Here there is no journaling. I just had fun making some roses and then putting some stickers. And then this time last year was the entry. And then this one was something like it had to do with like cutting out. But I had seen somebody do these little envelopes and I thought it would be cool to do like the things that I love, like a good hot cup of tea. And then I put some other ones over here. I made some bigger ones. Oh, okay, that one doesn't want to come out, but these should come in and out. Like, I love dark chocolate. So I thought this entry was really fun to make. This time next year, I love this cluster. I love anything that has to do with travel. This one, I'd rather be crafting. What's my title? This one had to do with watercolor. I remember that. And I learned from somebody on YouTube that you could make these little splotches of like watercolor on really pretty paper. And then I just incorporated that as part of my design. End of month review for February. And then that's it. I called it done because although I still have a lot of pages, the journal didn't close anymore, and that really bothered me. So that is one thing that I did want to like point out, that I never had that issue in the if you can see here, this is a magazine cutout right here, a lady drinking her coffee. But even if I'm back in the back, this Archer and Olive notebook still stays closed. Opened. This guy is opened, but this part is so bulky that I just really have to say that Archer and Olive does great, even though I have all kinds of things. Maybe it's, I'm not being fair. I did do quite a number of interactive things, but really they're pretty flat. And that was one thing that I did notice, that I don't know if you can tell, but some of the paper just starts to get really hard to keep the page down, where in my Archer and Olive the page stays down no matter what kind of paper I put. It's always, you know, nice and creased, even at the back. Look at that, even at the very back. I don't know, I'm kind of missing, now that I've done this Leuchtturm. Leuchtturm was really good because of the lines, but I will say that the paper was pretty thin. And there is a limit to, you know, how much fits in here. This, I pretty much just did October, some of January, and some of February. So I would say like 3 months worth, since November and December were very short. But I just couldn't get through the whole, you know, that whole thing of not being able to lay flat versus my, you know, my Archer and Olive would lay flat at any point that I would, it always laid flat. So I may just have to go back to Archer and Olive for my creative journal, because this one, it was good, but it wasn't the best now that I've been able to be in different creative journals. All right, friends, we're gonna leave the video there. Thank you so much for coming to watch the video. Let me know if you have just a journal that you really like. I would love to hear about it. Let me know if there's a brand that you like. Have you tried the Leuchtturm1917? Have you tried the Archer and Olive? I'm always open for suggestion. If you want to see any more of my creative journal flip throughs, please check out my creative journal playlist down below. And if you enjoyed it, please leave me a like and leave me a comment letting me know that you like this type of content. All right, friends, I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.